Today we will try to get understanding about the Spring actuator. What is Spring actuator? Okay. Um, our Spring application will be deployed on a cloud or any server, and it will run. But we need some admin kind of thing. We want to check. We want to monitor. We want to get some information from the server. For this, we have actuator. Actuator is a Spring module which will expose few endpoints by which we can get extra information for the admin purpose or the monitoring purpose. So let's see how and what kind of um, endpoints we can use provided by the actuators. So for this again we will go to the favorite website Spring Initializer. Spring Initializer. And we have so many Spring projects. So let's say um, let me create a new one. Okay. So I will use Maven as a build tool, Java as a programming language. Whatever the Spring Boot version it suggests, I am happy with that, and I will change my package name, and I will change the name also. Spring Actuators. Okay. I want to pack my file in jar. Okay. Java 17, I'm okay with these things. Now come to the dependencies. So web most common, dev tools for easy reloads. Okay. And let's say actuator. You can see supports built-in or custom endpoints that let you monitor and manage your application such as health, metrics, session, and so on. So basically it's an operation related thing. Let's see. So the new thing here is this Spring Boot actuator. Okay. I'm done and I'm going to generate my project. So it will download in my system. So as usual, I will cut it down, go to the workspace, paste it, extract it. Spring actuator, yeah, this is the Spring actuator. So I will delete this zip. I don't need anymore. So come to the Eclipse, file, import, existing Maven project, browse, and I can see Spring actuators, select folder, finish. It will take a couple of minutes to configure or import the project. Just wait. refresh, close others. So let's see. um, I'm not going to create any controller right now, any method, any code. Whatever it is provided, I'm going to run it. Right click, run as Java application, and I will focus on the logs. See the console logs. These are the console logs. Try to focus on these things. Make it bigger, wider. Okay. So it says we don't have any other property, sorry, profile. So the default profile is the default. Okay. Tomcat is initialized. Okay. Live reload server is running. This is for dev tools. And this is one extra thing right now. This is exposing one endpoint beneath base path, this thing. Okay. So as I added actuator as a dependency, and I'm doing nothing but just run the application, it says we got one endpoint, one controller, sorry, one API, one URL kind of thing is this. So let me check. Control C, I copied. Go to the browser, and in the new tab I type HTTP. No need to type HTTP, just type localhost. You can see I will paste this thing. Wow, wow. It says something, but it's kind of JSON. It's kind of JSON. Okay. Although I'm able to understand this JSON, but I want some nice format to understand this JSON. So I will copy it. Okay. I will copy it. Control C, and I will open JSON Viewer website. JSON Viewer website. This one. I will paste it. Okay, format. So it's a nice format. Okay, now it's little bit understandable. We have links. Self link is this. Okay, we have one endpoint health, and the URL of health is this, and something like that. We can also use in this form. Wow. So whatever the JSON we got, it's a nice representation. Okay. So means we can see we have these many URLs. So if we hit this actuator, I will get these many data. But if I type /health, if I type /health, it will give, you can see status up. So you can see actuator provide one endpoint health by default to check whether my server is running or not. So as an admin, as a monitoring purpose, you want to check whether your application is running fine on server or not. What you can do, you can hit this URL and you can get this method up, means it's working fine. Its health is okay. If something else like down, that's mean something problematic at the server side. So this is the first endpoint which is by default enabled. Which is by default enabled. Actuator provides lots of endpoints, but they are not enabled by default. By default, only one endpoint is enabled, that is health, as we are seeing. So the next question comes into our mind. Okay, how to use other endpoints info, like info. Sorry, no info. Like environment. Sorry, no, we cannot access this. Like being. Sorry, we cannot access it. So to exposing all others endpoints, what we have to do, we have to write some property in our property file. Okay, let me show you how to expose actuator endpoints in SpringBoot. It's simple thing. Okay, I know the property name, but I want to show you from where I can get these things. It's just one line or two line, not more than that. If I write this, what happened? Let me stop the server and I will open my property file under the resources folder. Here I will write this thing. Asterisk means all. Asterisk means all. All endpoints will be exposed by default. Okay, great. Let me run this application one more time. And it's trying to run. Focus on the logs. Yeah, same thing. So again, I will run the actuator first. I will try to run actuator first and see. Now you can see we get lots of JSON. Without wasting time, I just copy and paste it here. And here is the format, and you can see, and here is the, we have beans, we have cache, we have health, we have info, we have conditions, we have environment, we have loggers, so many endpoints. So let me check one by one, but not all. I will run few. So let's say I want to check how many beans we have. One by one. Beans. Beans. These many beans. Oh my god. Control A, Control C, um, JSON viewer, paste in one, format viewer. These many beans created by Spring Boot. Even we are not writing any code, anything, but as by default, these many beans are created. So many things. It might be you are not able to understand these things right now, but it's very useful for a admin purpose kind of thing. Okay, another one, bean. Now caches. No caches. Okay. Health. We already saw that, but still it's up. Wow. Next one is info. Let's see whether we have any info. No, we don't have any info. How to get info? I can show you. Just a few minutes. Uh, uh, Environment. Envy. So many things. Let me show you. active profiles? No, there is no active profiles. Property sources, server code, it's not showing. In the system variables, what is the Java version? It's not showing. Where will you put it? Let me show you why it's just a minute. Uh, mm, by this we can show the specified, means I don't want to all but few. So this will do. Okay. Mm. I think in Spring new version they changed something, that's why the values are not shown for the security purpose. Okay, no worries, we are done. Okay, so we can see we can get the lots of endpoints by adding by simply adding actuator dependency in our application. You can see in our project we have actuator, and here we mention this thing. Either we can do this thing, or this is the comment, this is the comment, or we can mention individual. Okay, I'm interested in health, which is by default enable info environment matrix, something like that. Either you can mention one by one. Just wait. Yeah, it's running fine. So we only mention these three. That's mean we can access only these three. Okay, let's say come here, health. Yes, we can. What next? Info and environment. Info, we don't have info. Environment, yeah. But suppose I want to check beans. No, we cannot. Why? Because by default all endpoints are disabled except health. And if I want to expose, I want to open other endpoints, so we need to mention here what other point. Either we can use all, or we can mention the name of individuals. So this part is clear. The actuator is used for admin kind of stuff. Yes, this part is clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So let me show you key Spring Security. Let's talk about the Spring Security. I want to secure my things. So how we can do it?
Firewall, anything? Said you know the firewalls?
Sorry, are you saying something? Hello, Geeta. Pramilaji, you are saying
Yeah,
something?
I was saying setting up a firewall or something for security.
No. Again, Spring provide its own way to do this thing. Spring Security. So let me
Okay.
start Spring Security.
Okay.
So I'm not going to create any other project, but I will use the same. Or let's create another project. Control C, Control V. Spring Security. Security. Okay. So let's copy this thing. Copy. So I want to close this actuator, and I will first change the name. First change the name. The project name is Spring Security. This is first change. Third change, I want to change in the package name. No, and I will change my main class file name. Okay, fine. So now I'm done with my things. Now in this application we are interested in Spring Security. So I'm not interested in the dev actuator, so I will remove this thing. Okay. So we have Spring Web. Okay. We have DevTools. Okay. And by default it provides JUnit test. Okay. I'm happy with this thing. So let me create a controller and endpoint, and which will be in which can be accessed by anyone without any problem, without any authentication authorization. So what is authentication and what is authorization, I will talk about later. But first let's create an endpoint, a controller, and try to access without any problem. For this I will come inside here, and I will try to create a class that is, it's a test controller, and it's my habit, I will create controllers in second. Rest controller. Let's say public string greet return welcome to Spring. This is simple method. I want to bind with a URL. So very simple thing. Get mapping. In this I can pass a URL slash, let's say, greet. Very simple. Okay, इससे आसान कुछ हो नहीं सकता. ठीक है. So let me try to run this application. So this is my main file. So right click, run as Java application, and let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see Spring Security application runs in this file. Okay, fine. Now I want to hit this endpoint, try to get whether we are able to access this uh, method or not, whether we are able to access call this API or not. So it's very easy. I'm here and I just type slash greet, and it's very cool. Welcome to Spring Boot, as expected. But suppose this is not a greet endpoint, this is a payment service, this is a highly secured API. So we don't want everyone can access this thing. I want some authentication mechanism. Authentication means you have to prove yourself ki what you are claiming you are, means you have to pass your username and password, and we have to match your username password with our saved username and password, and if they are matched, I will say okay, you are authenticated person. We know that, we know you authenticated. Authorization means although you are authentication, but sometimes you don't have power to do everything. You have limited access. Let's for example in bank, you as a peon can get access inside the bank because you are authenticated person, but you cannot open any locker, you cannot move cash from here to there because you are not authorized. But if you are clerk, again you are authenticated person, but you have more access than the peon. As a bank manager, you have more, you are authenticated person because you are employed, you have employee code and all everything, but you have more access, more authority to access the resources of the bank in comparison to peon, in comparison to clerk. If you are bank owner, if you are bank owner, CEO, whatever, so you have lots of authority to do in comparison to others. So authentication means you are authenticated person. Authorization means what you can access or what you cannot. Getting my point? These two terms are clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So now it's time to introduce Spring Security in our project. So first step, I will just add a Spring Security dependency and see the magic. Remove this. I only want Spring Security. So I will type security. You can see there are lots of things comes under the security, but I will choose first one, highly customizable authentication and access control framework for the Spring application. Okay, so I will go with this. So I will explore because I need Maven kind of thing. Where is this? Yeah, this is. So I will copy this part only. Control C, Control C, Control C, Control C, and I will paste it here. So you can see it will try to download dependencies from the internet first time because okay, so it will take few seconds, and you can see it's working fine and it's trying to run. Okay, so let me stop one more time. Now I want to run. Now it's working fine. So let's see. Earlier we accessed this URL without any problem. Great URL earlier it was we were able to access this URL without any problem. Let's see. Refresh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Now it's asking the username and password. Before Spring Security, we hit the URL and we get the value. I think some mistake is here. Let me again put the greet function. Greet. This was my URL. Oh my god! Every time it redirects to the login page. The first thing is who creates this login page? Me, you, or Spring Security? Who provides this HTML page? You, me, or Spring Security? Spring Security. As soon as we added Spring Security dependency in our Spring Boot application, it will secure all endpoints by default. We have only one. I know that we have only one. We have only one endpoint, but earlier it was not secured.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Last time we create here a gate mapping in REST controller. Also, we create here a response body, right? So what is the different response body, and without response body we run this project?
When we are using REST controller,
Mhm.
all the method of the class will
Mhm.
return the data.
Mhm.
Okay, so we don't need to write
Mhm.
response body. But suppose instead of REST controller, if we use controller annotation,
Mhm.
so in this case, controller methods will controller methods are returning name of the view or view name, HTML page name, JSP page name. But when we want to return data in controller, we have
Mhm.
to add one extra annotation, add response body. So in the REST controller, in the case of REST controller, we don't need to write response body because by
Mhm.
default every method of this class will return data instead of view name, instead of HTML page name. So when you comes to the REST controller, you don't need to write response body.
Body. Yeah. Okay.
So let's come back to our point. So Spring Security secure all endpoints by default. Okay, it's a good thing, but what is my username? What is my password? So believe me, your username is user. Okay, I believe you. But what is the password? Where is the password?
Password.
Okay, yeah, the main thing is that. So that's why I always said see the logs. See the logs. This is the user, this is the password generated by Spring Boot. This
Character
is
password.
generated password is development use only. Your security configuration must be updated before running your application in production. So it's just for testing purpose. It's just for
Mhm.
testing purpose. So
Testing.
let me copy this password and I will pass this password here and sign in. And if everything goes well, yeah, welcome to Spring Boot. Wow, yes or no?
Yeah.
Suppose I want to log out. So again, we have one more endpoint, log out. It will say, it will ask, are you sure you want to log out? Yes, sir. Okay. Now I want to access again greet. It will again redirect me to the login page because I log out. Again user, again same password. I'm again happy to access my APIs. So this is a zero level security. Zero level security means we didn't nothing, we do nothing, okay, but still security applies. In this case, username and password provided by who provides username and password?
Spring
Spring Boot application.
initializer.
Spring Boot application. Can we provide our own username and our own password? Yes, definitely.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely, we can provide our own username and password. So, what we have to do? We have to use some property. Again, application.property file. Okay. So you don't need to write every property name because internet is full of information. So just search uh, how to configure username and password, username and password in Spring Boot property properties file. Simple thing. Okay. So I need two properties, spring dot security dot username dot something like that. Yeah. This is not what I'm looking. Yeah, these two properties. Just copy and open your properties file under the resources. Might be there are other properties, so hit here and make it comment Spring security. So you should know these properties are used in Spring security. Let's say username is test, password is 1234. Okay, so I want this username and password. So let me stop. Sometimes DevTools is not work fine in these cases. So my username is right now test and my password is 1234. And see the log whether Spring Boot will generate password or not. If it is generate password, that means it's not working. In this case, I cannot see any generated password. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So I think it will work. Okay. So let me run this application again. All these things. Let me type greet. And it will ask for username and password. Okay. So let me give the username password test. And password is 1234. Wow. We can access it. It's saying, you can see, it's trying to access this username and password. It's trying to save. But I don't want to save. I'm just showing you that I use this username and password. So this is level 1 security. You configure your username and password here. Getting or not?
Yeah, it's
Okay. But sometimes we don't want to sometimes we don't want to configure our username and password here, but through a Java class. So how we can configure? So definitely there is a way. So I will comment out these things and I will demonstrate few things. So let me. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes few things are not working because change in Spring Boot versions, but still I will try to make those things in a better way. You can see we have to create a Spring config class, something like that. Okay. So let me copy this thing, Control A, Control C, and I will paste here and stop it. Let me modify, then I will show you. .config package, move, we have to import. Now you can see this class is not found. Okay, fine. And D. Okay. So remove all other faltu stuff. Let me create here. Okay. let's say so what I will do, configure method name. This is something different. Okay, I think they change. Now you can see I just create this file with these many configuration. In memory authentication means we are not saving this username and password in any database, but it will available till application is running. And I already commented out these things. Okay, so let me try to run this application one more time. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, it says class not found. Okay, no worries. Let me one more time manual clean. Okay, one more time manual install.
Hey, what is the maybe install?
Manual install will see whether any jar is needed at the runtime or not. After that, it will try to compile, it will try to build, it will try to run all the test cases. Finally, it will create a jar or war file in the target folder.
Okay.
This is our target folder. If everything goes well, it will create a jar and var here, whatever the packaging. But due to any reason, it's failing. So let me check what's the problem. Um, okay, just 1 minute. CMD VM clean install -e, because I downgrade my application version. That's why it's problems are coming. Let me check. It's saying something. Error invalid target is okay. JDK 17 is not supported by that version. That was the problem. So let me change the version. Come to the POM file. Come to the POM file. Okay, I changed the Spring version, so I will change the Java version is 8. Let's see whether it works or not. Hmm. Mm, just one more. I think it's 1.8 and it should be right click update force. Now it shows okay. So let me one more time write. it's again failing. Okay, but here why it's failing? Error in test cases. Okay, but I didn't write any test cases. So let me delete these things. I don't want to. Okay, so again run this. You can see build success. That's means it's working fine. So now build success means comes to the target folder. You can see lots of things. Uh, mm, okay. Come here in the target folder. You can see the jar is created. Now this jar you can run directly. Okay. So install will package your application. Come here. I'm not interested in that part. I'm interested in this part. Right click, run application. It should be run. Yeah, it should be run fine. And see the logs carefully. Okay. What's the problem? This. Okay. Cannot pass a null grant collection, something like that. Okay. Cannot pass. Just let me check. Most of the time I'm expecting error because um, Spring Boot will use a password encoder. It will not save the password as a plain text. So for this, let me try one more thing. Not pass. Sorry. Control Z. Dot password encoder or password encoder dot. Just a minute. Password. Oops. Password encoder. We have to write no. Okay, so I have to configure this bean. I have to write something like that. Control space bean. No password means I don't want to encode my password. Yeah. So for password encoder, I'm saying no. I don't want to encode or decode my password. Okay. I want to save my password as a plain text. Okay, fine. So let me check again whether this exception coming or not, because Spring Security by default expected you will encode your password by using any encoding mechanism. But again the problem, cannot pass granted collection. Okay, so I think we didn't give any role. So let me do admin role for now. Let me check one more time. Now you can see it's working fine. Tomcat, okay, fine. So let's see. I want to run my grid function, grid URL. It's asked for username password. Username password is not generated here. Okay, and I also not giving any username password here because these lines are commented out. Okay, so but I'm using in memory username password, so I expect Spring Security will create a username with this name and password with this role, and password is not encoded. Okay, so let me check whether it's working or not. Musa1234, Musa1234, sign in. It's working fine. So this is a third way to configure your username and password. So why I am doing third way? Because I have to move towards JDBC. I have to move towards JDBC. I want to store my username and password in database, and then I want to connect my application with the database. So we will do this thing tomorrow. Okay, so I'm done. In the next session we will see JDBC authentication, means my username password will be saved into the database. From the database I will fetch those things to match username and password. Okay, now anyone have any query, question, you can ask.